Tarikatın esvah ve hayrun fil cemiya. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Destur ya Seyyidi.
Islam, the foundation of Islam, of the path of God, of the religion of God is purity, cleanliness. That the believing person is pure at heart and clean with his body, physically. That's why Islam values cleanliness outside as well as inside. That every day we have to wash ourselves 5 times a day, hands, feet, hand, mouth, everything, before we start to pray. Why do we do that? Because the Lord loves His servant to be clean and pure, and that he smells nicely and is nice to be around. And once prayer, you've prepared yourself for prayer, you became clean outside and with your heart as well, and physically, and that you are standing in front of your Lord or dressed and nice and beautiful. That's actually a sign of good manners. That's showing respect towards the Lord Himself. If King Charles were to invite you into his presence of his palace, would you go there just like the way you are right now? Even if you don't have any decent clothes, you would go to a place and rent something. If you don't have any money, you're going to knock on a door of a friend and ask, can you lend me your clothes? Why? Because the king has invited me to come. I have to look decent. And you can even, once we are done, can you also lend me your tuxedo? And even your dentures, please. That I have some teeth again and can show my teeth while smiling. And even a brush if you have, please. Because you want to look decent and smell nice. And look accordingly as where you are, because it's not a normal invitation. And when you're invited to a party, or if there's a certain event, you make yourself clean. But if you're standing in front of your Lord, you go there just walking like that and then like a hippie, and then you ask him to make you happy. That's not how it works. This is what it means to show respect. And Islam, the path of God, asks of us cleanliness and purity. And this is half of belief, the half of Iman. So smell good, don't stink, and on Friday pray, don't enter a mosque with stinky feet or stinky socks, and don't eat any garlic or no onions. Don't come inside with that is stinking and makes everybody else nervous or even feel disgusted by your stuff and is keeping them away from prayer, their attention away from prayer. Don't let the people, the angels, will leave if you come inside stinky. Because the angels, that the human being, that the believer, smells nice and not bad. And that is why that eating garlic and onions is forbidden. If you're going to prayer, if you go to a mosque, and other people are also attending, it's not good to do so. It's not recommended. So put on some nice deodorant and go inside. And Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that. And his companions asked him, "Oh Muhammad, so we're not allowed to eat garlic?" Well, yes, you can eat. If you're not going into the mosque, sure you can eat it. It's healthy for you, but I won't eat it. Sayyid Muhammad told himself, I won't eat any garlic. Why? Because I always get a visit by the angels. And the angels don't like that kind of smell. So out of showing respect and good manners, I don't eat any garlic. Because I always get a visit, I'm always being visited by Archangel Gabriel, so out of good manners, and he showed good manners and showed respect towards the angels, and he forbade himself to eat garlic. But what about tobacco? Garlic is stinky, but it's healthy. But tobacco is stinky and it's not good for your health. So what do we do about that? Do you really think that once you eat garlic, when we know that no angel's coming, do you think when you're thinking of tobacco that even angel's going to come inside and gonna calm you down and gently stroke and say, "Oh, you look so nice and you stink so badly"? It's such an ugly and harsh smell. You can't even describe it. If you smoke yourself, you don't smoke anymore. You run away from those people that are smokers. How could I be so stupid that I didn't even smell it? How much I have stunk. How bad I must have smelled. What did I do to all those people with my stinky everything, you know? And on the day of last judgment, you will have to stand in front and Allah will, because you harmed everybody around with your stink. And then eventually you harmed yourself. And our belief says, and if you don't have any way to give charity, if you can't do any good, and you haven't found any way to good, then at least don't harm anybody. That's also a good deed. It's also is meant as an act of charity. If you can't do with your money or with your hand on feet, do something good. If you couldn't do anything, at least don't hurt anybody, harm anybody on that day. That's also a form of sadaqah, of charity for you. So it's the lowest form of charity, the lowest way of bad. This is as well a charity that you didn't harm anybody. I didn't harm and hurt anybody. But you were smoking. You stank like nothing. And you harmed others. I didn't harm any fly. Yes. But you stank like that. Angels are gonna go and say that this was bad. From right above and left and up and down and behind, you're always surrounded by angels, and they don't know where to turn to because of that smell, because they have to stay with you, but they want to run away. And you took them prisoner with your stank. And neither they could get out or no inside, because the Lord is to stay with you. But they couldn't breathe anymore. What a pain for them, what suffering for those angels. And of course they're going to go and protest against you. What an insight we've got now into all what is hidden for us, what's unseen. You think this is all, everything normal, it's supposed to be. No, that's not true. Nothing is in order if you're stinky like that. Nothing is in order if you unknowingly and out of ignorance harmed others. And you thought, yes, I'm a good person. Even if you didn't do anything bad, unknowingly, you did something bad at first. And even if there's nobody around you, the angels are still here. You are surrounded by angels. There's always someone that is supporting you, always beings around you. On the right side, it's a bookkeeper that is always writing down, keeping books of all your good deeds. And on the left side, you've got a bookkeeper for all the bad things. So the right angel is writing down I couldn't find anything to write down anything good. The other one, and the left side is always like stinky, 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 stinker. It's always stinky, smelly, smelly, stinker. And you survived the day, and the book has been, everything's only been copied as stinker. The angels that have been ordered to be with us, to a smoker, and they are always carry around like a little clip on their nose so that they don't are out of oxygen. So the story of a tobacco. So at first we want to tell you and to the reasons of its being there. Such a damned plant. Where does it come from? Even it's harmful. Even it's who produces itself, the producer of tobacco and who's producing cigarettes, they have to write down, don't touch, it's harmful, you harm your body, you actually kill your organs, don't buy it. They have to write it down. Shaitan himself has to write down, have to, onto the package, very big letters, don't buy me. You will kill yourself with that. Oh, it's suicide. It's a very religious form, right? But it's cursed in all forms of beliefs. Anybody who's killing themselves goes to hell directly. Our brother knows it better. Suicide is forbidden in Islam. And every day you're committing suicide, you know. And the Hodjas, those scholars, they call it makruh. It's as if it were something good, like a grey zone. And they don't explain it. Because they are smokers themselves. And that's why they are hypocrites and they all go to hell. Sayyidina Ali, radiallahu anhu, once he wanted to go to a morning prayer into the mosque. He gets out of this house and he was already a little bit late and wanted to run to the mosque fast. And there was an old man with a hunch on his back and going slowly and slowly. And Sayyidina Ali, out of respect, out of good manners, cannot actually go in front of him, but still has to go fast. And the old man is going very, very slow. And that young Ali, he cannot go round because to show respect. And just like behind him, he has to walk ant steps. And just like that, at the end, they're getting closer to the mosque, and suddenly, that old man, that was getting even slower, suddenly is starting to run. And then Sayyidina Ali understood, this is shaitan. Because at those times, the devil could dress up as a human. So immediately Sayyidina Ali is very fast. Allah gave him the speed of light, and boom, he had him at his neck. Took the devil, slammed him to the floor, and took a very big rock and then put it on top of him. So he was caught underneath the big rock. So Shaitan, if a saint has put down that rock around on him, he cannot lift it. If Sayyidina would have put a rock on top of Sayyidina, onto Archangel Gabriel, even if it's small like this, because that actually is the hand of God weighing down at them, so they're imprisoned then. And Sayyidina Muhammad waited with prayer until Sayyidina Ali came and asked him, what happened? Why are you so late? Oh Muhammad, I'd say Shaitan was betraying me or was fooling me as an old man, and I saw that he was Shaitan, so I took him, I charged him. So after prayer they all went outside, and such an old stinky person was there lying underneath that rock. So Sayyidina Ali took the rock aside and took him by the front. So now I'm going to kill him so that all of humanity is going to be saved, he said. Sayyidina Muhammad said, stop. Don't do that. Without Shaitan, there's no hell. But without Shaitan, there's no paradise either. So, if you kill Shaitan, the devil, now, no believer will ever enter paradise because they haven't been seduced, they haven't been put on trial. He is actually the one who does the final test. He is the one who's doing the final testing on him. So nobody can actually prove themselves worthy without him. Sayyidina Ali was really disappointed and said, well, okay, at least he has to get a slap to the face. So it was the first Ottoman hand slap was by Sayyidina Ali. So he gave him a big, huge whack on the face. And the devil was never faster than that before. Just like in the cartoon movie, like you could see the dust clouds were operating, and he was running so fast, and boom, he went. And then he went where to? To the island of Ceylon. Is there a tobacco plant, or was it in Latin America or America? Where do you find tobacco plants? Oh. So in Cuba, for example. So the USA. So that's why the name USA comes. So they gave it themselves. USA. And then, out of that huge panic and fright, he actually shits himself. And out of that excrements, which is like dung, it goes into the earth, and then the tobacco plant came up. So no wonder it stinks so much. It's the stank of, it's the odor of shaitan. So it's the smell of dung, of excrement, of shit, because everything on him stinks. And it's cursed. A product of the cursed one. That's why it is cursed already. And never harms anybody who puts it in their hand. And if they smoke it, everything has to do, and organs. And you only harm the money that Allah gave you as rizq, as your provision, as your barakah, and blessing. You just waste it and you put it on fire and smell it and smoke it. And shaitan is only made out of smoke and fire. See, shaitan himself has been created out of smoke, out of the smoke of fire. Isn't it? The smoke of fire. And cigarette is fire and smoke. So you invite shaitan into your organs with your own hands, and you even pay money for that. That might help the poor people in the other country, and then you just breathe it out. You exhale it, and with all that fire and smoke, and you created them again. That's what I hear myself. You actually produced your own shaitan. You produced your shaitan through smoke and fire, they tell me. I hear it the first time as well. Don't sleep. Because shaitan, how does he get into being? Out of smoke and fire. And that stank, because they stink like that. That is the story of how tobacco came into being. It is not a blessed thing. On the contrary, it's a cursed thing. You curse yourself, you put a curse on yourself. And Maulana Sheikh Nazim himself said, in Al-Azhar, the highest university address, the ulama, the scholars, they assigned everything and give fatwa that it is haram, it's forbidden. The Diyanet, the Turkish Diyanet Religion Institute in Turkey declared it to be haram. They said, Sheikh Nazim did that like 50, 60 years ago. He said everything is haram. Even if it is a saint with 7 levels of fire. If you smoked, he will go into hell as first. Even if they are a saint, at first they have to go to hell, then they can go to paradise. Such a great, strong atonement is on that. It's haram, it's forbidden. And what a shame. All Hajis, all pilgrims, on the day of Arafat, on the Mount Arafat, where you become a pilgrimage, like about 4 million are smoking there, putting on the. I was there once myself, and they are all smoking. And I told them from the Turkish Diyanet, which is from, it's the state organized. So who is the head of them? They showed them, and they were also smoking. Salam alaikum, alaikum salam, peace be upon you, peace. Are you the captain of this? Of all those passengers? Yes. Some kind of scholars. I've got a question for you now, because I don't quite grasp it myself yet. So yes, what? But ask me. Because he is arrogant scholars. Is rose water forbidden or allowed in Islam? If you put on your clothes of ihram, of pilgrimage, it's not allowed, he said, because I accidentally put on some rose oil on me. It's not allowed, he said. You have to sacrifice 1 camel for that. But that's the smell of Sayyidina Muhammad. It's the smell of the Prophet. They use that kind of oils. It's sunnah. It's a tradition of the Prophet. La, it's not. It's forbidden, haram. You have to sacrifice a camel. Okay, I understood. I will go and look for one. But then I've got another ashquin. If a rose oil that is actually a tradition of the Prophet needs 1 sacrifice of a camel because it's on the wrong place, wrong time. Here you can't even use soap that is smelly. It has to be odorless. Only the odor of your body. You're not even allowed to comb your hair, for you not to actually break a hair. So delicately it has to be dealt with. You are not even allowed to comb your hair so that no hair is falling out because of you. And actually, everything that's allowed, that's even recommended. The Sayyidina Muhammad told us to comb ourselves. You are not allowed to comb yourself. So, then I've got another question. So, the rose odor I've understood, of 1 camel. What about the smell of tobacco? Don't we have to sacrifice a dinosaur? How disrespectful. On the last judgment day, you will have to stand in front of you because you are a person of example. Yeah, it's your role to tell them the truth. And because you are smoking, they are smoking as well. And you all stink. This is allowed. This is permissible, but Rosa is not permissible. Shame on you. He was in the same hotel. He was avoiding me later then. Wherever. I always cause trouble. May Allah give us good understanding for those who have understood and who want to understand. That is enough. For someone who don't want to understand, we could talk endlessly and give examples non-stop. It will never be enough. They will say, enough talk, but it will never be enough. May Allah guide us with His light and blessing.